Here's my happiness, my little ones playing with each other. I had a skin cancer cut out on Monday, and the doctor who cut it out was coughing, and I don't think he made me sick necessarily. Already my asthma was playing up, so I don't think it's COVID, but I still have to be a bit cautious. So anyway, almost immediately I got home. I was running, as soon as he finished, actually I had a bit of a temperature. My skin was bright red, and I'm sure it's a trauma reaction. He wasn't sexually inappropriate. He was a gentleman, unlike the last two doctors I saw for my skin cancers. They were vile. But he kind of is so quickly, you're in and out like being on a supermarket production line. And he basically, no sooner he finished, putting the bandage on, was like, yeah, get dressed, see you next week. So I kind of half joked that it felt like I'd been at a brothel and I'd been told to put my pants on and get the hell out of there. It was that kind of a feeling of like, you're just a body and not even a real person. But look, I'm not too traumatized by that, because he did what he had to do, and he got me in and he got me out, and he wasn't sleazy, which I'm so grateful for that. There is nothing worse than going to have your skin treated and the doctor acts like a disgusting sleaze, or any doctor actually. So there is that. So anyway, I got news this morning. I've been quite ill. Today is Beauregard. Today is Thursday morning. It's Thursday morning. So I got a phone call around, what's the time now? It was around 9:30 from my neighbour down the road, because I was regularly visiting their elderly 92-year-old mother who had not Alzheimer's but another form of dementia. I think Lewis Briggs or something like that. Anyway, I'm probably mixing it up with Myers-Briggs. But anyway, she had some form of dementia. And I mean, at 92, she was remarkably healthy, apart from chronic diarrhea and soiling herself, which has become such a problem that they had arranged about a month or so ago to put her into a home, after nursing her for 3 years at home, which was incredibly lovely and beautiful of them to do, keep her home in her own home and look after her so admirably. But it's reached the point where they're no longer able to deal with the chronic, constant diarrhea, and she's starting to get aggressive. And so Robin said to me, she's going in the home next Wednesday, which is the day that I get my second skin cancer cut out. So I'm going to be, ravaged, worse for wear again. And because I'm sick at the moment, I know it's not COVID, but I'm not 100% certain. But I'm fairly sure if it was COVID, I wouldn't have just had a mild temperature. I would have been quite ill, because I'm not vaccinated. So I'm worried about whether I'll be able to see my elderly friend before she gets put into the home, And I'm a bit distraught because she probably won't remember, but I don't want her to feel abandoned and rejected, especially at such an important transition in her life, being moved into what I term the waiting rooms of death, because when my mother was in the home in 2008 to 2010, I witnessed so much abuses that I actually reported it. It was horrific. So I have trauma issues about old people's homes. In fact, I've made up my mind that should I get to a stage where I'm going to be possibly put into home, I'd rather suicide That's how strongly I feel about losing my autonomy and my independence and being at the mercy of people. And as I explained to Robin, they just get medicated 24/7, and they tend to, well, the younger people that go into those homes tend to die quite quickly, whereas the older ones tend to be languish for quite a long time sometimes. So it's weird, you know. But Else has already been given between 6 months and 6 years to live, so I don't perceive that once she's put in the home that she will actually, spend too long in there anyway, given her health is deteriorating. So it's all very sad, really, but by golly, she's been as stoic and as strong as an ox at 92, and she's been an inspiration, because I wander around at 57 with chronic ill health. If it's not my lungs, it's my bowels. If it's not my bowels, it's my arthritis. If it's not my arthritis, it's my PTSD. If it's not that, it's just chronic and constant. And I myself feel quite wrung out, quite frankly, with it all. But having said that, I'm a survivor, and I've outlived all my own expectations, and keep living. So there is something to be said about living each day and delighting in the little gifts that each day unwraps for us, and being carefree and happy, in the summer lands with the fairies. Look at my elderberries at the back of my garden. They're not at the bottom of the garden. I've got them at the northeast position, but the light streaming in my garden today is just beautiful. We had a bitterly cold wind yesterday. It was so windy and bitter. It felt like my childhood in New Zealand and Island Bay, Wellington, which I lived on the Cook Strait, so we got howling southerlies all winter long, and sometimes in summer too. And it was bitterly cold. But anyway, I was too ill yesterday, so I just basically stayed, warmly dressed. And last night I was so ill, still feeling off. I actually, and I never do this, wore socks to bed, because I thought, well, maybe if I keep my feet more warm, it will help me. And I actually feel a bit better, although my asthma's not great. But my lungs haven't been great since I was 4 years old, so there is that. So here we are, enjoying our beautiful day, and Charlie's climbed up on my shoulder. I haven't had a shower yet, my hair's everywhere. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. I look a sight, and I don't fucking care, quite frankly. The beauty of getting old is you stop caring about your appearance so much. I mean, of course, if I was going out, I'd brush my hair and get dressed properly, but being sick, you just lose care factor. Oh look, there's some kind of bug in there. Can you see it? It looks like a mosquito, but it's green. It's a very green mosquito. Look at it. Extraordinary. Is it dead or alive? Oh, it's alive. Well, if it's a mosquito, I've seen a green mosquito before. I should squash it, right? I don't really care. I've stopped killing things. I know, the only things that make me homicidal now are drunken predatory men that I still have to deal with when I go out dancing on the weekend. So normally I'd be out dancing tomorrow night, but given the state of my chest, I might give it a miss this weekend. I'm pretty sure it's not COVID, but I don't want to put a strain on my lungs too much, make myself even more ill. And it does get stressful dealing with drunk men and some drunk women too. So and I go out to have a good time, not to be enraged by debauchery. But having said that, I enjoy my dancing, and it's the only real cardio exercise I get, apart from walking around the block with a dog. So, I persevere even though dealing with humanoids is problematic at the best of times. So the postman came today, and he's actually quite lovely. Yesterday I've been ordering supplies for my silversmithing journey. I call it a journey because I'm a long way on that road to go. But I ordered supplies, and some came yesterday, and something I ordered yesterday had to be signed, and he had to see my ID, and he's standing at the door, and I was thinking, fuck, I hope I haven't got COVID, because you'll catch it, but look, I'm sure it's not COVID. I feel too good for it to be COVID. And anyway, I showed him my driver's license, which I pushed through the door because the dog was wanting to, run out and escape. So that was probably a saving grace for both of us. Anyway, he turned up at the door again this morning, and I said to him, because he came to the door, and I've got 12 steps, but it's a lot in your day to climb up some bloody woman's steps every morning, and not that he does it every morning, but the last 2 days. So I said to him, do I need to show my driver's license again? He said, oh no, but this parcel is very heavy. And he's just looking at me longingly, So then I realised he's a little bit sweet on me, or likes me or something. It's probably quite innocent. I won't ascribe negative connotations to it, because he hasn't done anything really, he's just sweet. But the way he kind of looked at me, and I'm thinking, what the fuck? Why are you climbing up my stairs carrying heavy parcels when you could just as easily leave it on the top of the letterbox, And if it doesn't have to be signed for or ID'd. But anyway, I didn't get cranky with him. I actually thought it was quite sweet and heartfelt, And so the love energy is improving in my life, in the sense that people are being, particularly kind and sweet. People being, people I would consider, strangers or vague acquaintances like postmen. So, yes, so it's funny, when you do your self-hypnosis and your manifestations, and then you just sort of sit back and observe what comes out of that. It's actually been quite intriguing. It's like the universe really is, by and large, a benevolent, loving place, but you have to work it, baby. Work it, and believe in it, and put trust and faith in it, and let it unfold in its own perfect timing. But of course, the Tanya, being the Tanya, waxes impatient, doesn't she? She likes to see, if not immediate results, fairly rapid results, because we're such an instant gratification generation, with our internet. And I suppose real magic is kind of instant, You put the thought form out, and you ask God and all the gods, which is the same thing really, and you say, well, I need this, and it comes, I suppose because when we leave our physical forms behind and we enter the next dimension, wherever that might be, everything is just all communicated and manifested by thought, and instant. So, being physical mortal beings, we still have that kind of intention that we want things to happen quickly, but in my case, sometimes I have to wait 20 years and give up, literally give up the ghost. I'm trying to focus the camera on these butcher birds. They've been hanging around lately. There's a pair of them. You just saw one fly down. And they're quite lovely, and they just stare at Charlie. Oh, there's the other one. Where is it? I lost him. Here he is. Yes. So, yeah, they've been hanging around the last few days, and that's kind of unusual that they're hanging around near Charlie. They're probably coming to take her food. But they don't tend to eat like lorikeet. Oh no, see, he grabbed a worm. He's got a big juicy worm in his beak. A happy little bird. So look, I'm happy for them to hang around as long as they don't harass Charlie. But very few of the